So now we're going to divide again, but here are some tips. Always arrange your polynomials in descending order. If there's anything missing, write the term with a 0 for the coefficient, and then perform the long division as you go. So here we have a polynomial. We have 9a squared plus a cubed minus 5. And we want to divide that by a squared minus 1. So I'm going to have a squared minus 1 divided by. Now arranged in order. So a cubed is first plus 9a squared. I don't have an a term, so I'm going to put 0a in its spot minus 5. I need that placeholder value for when I start dividing and going down. I have my terms, what needs to be there. So you have to ask yourself, what times a squared can make a cubed? And that's a. So I'm aligning with my a's. A times a squared would be a cubed, and a times negative 1 would be negative a. So now I draw this, I subtract, the a cubes go away. Then here I have 9a squared minus nothing, so 0, so I'm left with 9a squared. And I have 0a minus an a, a negative a, and so two negatives make a positive, so 0 plus a would give me a. And I'm going to bring down my next term because it looked like we skipped terms as we went. So now, a squared times what can give me 9a squared? I'm going to multiply by 9. So I'm going to have 9a squared. 9 times negative 1 would be negative 9. And then I'm going to subtract. So 9a squared minus 9a squared cancels out. A minus 0 is a. Negative 5 minus a negative 9. Negative and a negative make a positive, so negative 5 plus 9 would be positive 4. So here is my remainder. So my remainder doesn't just necessarily have to be a number, it could also be an expression. So my answer would be my quotient, a plus 9 plus my remainder, a plus 4, over what I divided by, which was a squared minus 1. Okay. So our last example, so now we're just going to see it in function notation. And so it wants us to take f of x and divide it by f of g. So we want to find the capital F function given this lowercase function divided by g function. And simplify it and then state all the restrictions on the domain. Sorry. Excuse me. Alright, so what do I have? I'm going to have 125 x cubed minus 8. That's my f. Over 5x minus 2. So here's my dividend. Here's my divisor. So I'm going to set it up using long division. So I want to take 5x minus 2 and I want to divide this by 125 x cubed. I don't have an x squared, so I need to put a 0 in its spot. I don't have an x, so I need to put a 0 in its spot. And then I'm going to have my number. So I have two things that we're missing. So then you have to ask yourself, 5 times what number will make 5x times what number will make 125x cubed? And so that's going to be 25x squared. So 25 times 5 makes 125, and x times x squared makes x cubed. 25x squared times negative 2 would make negative 50x squared. So this one, as you can see, so we don't jump terms like we did in the one previous. We subtract down, 125x cubes go away. 0 minus a negative 50, so two negatives make a positive. So 0 plus 50x squared would be 50x squared. Bring down my next term, which is plus 0x. And so I didn't bring on my next term because it looks like everything is aligning. If I saw my pattern like I did in the other one, then maybe I would have brought down the negative 8. So 5x times what can make 50x squared? So I'm going to have 5 times 10x, and it needs to be positive. So 10 times 5 would make 50, and x times x would make x squared. 10x times negative 2 would make negative 20x. subtract down, my 50x squares go away, 0 minus a negative 20x, 2 negatives make a positive, so this would be 0 plus 20x, which is 20x. Bring down my last term. So 5x times what can make 20x? And that would be 5 times a positive 4. So 5 times 4 would be 20 times x is x, and 4 times negative 2 would be negative 8. And we're going to subtract out. 20x minus 20x is 0. Negative 8 minus a negative 8, 2 negatives make a positive, so negative 8 plus 8 is 0. So it divides out evenly. So my solution. What does my capital F of x function equal? Well, I wanted it to be defined as when I had f divided by g of x, and so that's what I did here. And my quotient is my solution for my capital F function. So 25x squared plus 10x plus 4. And then it says list restrictions on the domain. So if we look back here in the original, if I have a fraction, my domain is what I can't divide by. And I know I can't divide by 0. So where does 5x minus 2 equal 0 at? Add 2 over, 5x equals 2, divide by 5, x equals 2/5. So my restriction would be that x cannot equal 2/5. Because if it is 2/5, then I get a 0 in the denominator and I can't divide by 0.